So you want to do some claw setting, but you don't want to send off for any castings or anything like that, and perhaps your soldering skills aren't up to soldering all those little claws and all those little bezels and under bezels all together, and it's all going to fall apart and you just get so frustrated. But you still want to learn how to set stones and how to make settings. I'm going to show you how you can make a gorgeous 4-claw setting, no soldering, from one piece of metal. My name's Andrew Berry, and welcome to At the Benches YouTube channel. So this is a very simple type of setting, but very effective. But you do have to be very accurate with your marking out and your filing and your sawing. This is the setting here. And as you can see, 4 claws. Looks like they're actually all separate pieces, but it's actually just from one piece of metal. This little bit of metal that we use for this one is about 2 millimeters square. And we're actually setting we have set a stone into this that is in the region of 4 millimeters in diameter. So this type of setting you can adjust to whatever size you want. You can start off with smaller, thinner square wire, thicker square wire, depending on the stone you actually want to set. Now, this is silver. We're going to be working in silver again, and I've got in front of me, just for clarity here on the cameras, is a piece of 3 millimeter square silver wire. And I said there is no soldering involved, and exactly that is what it is. There is no solder involved in making this setting. But when you actually come to put this setting onto something, whether you want to put it onto a ring or a pendant or whatever you want to put it on, a brooch, yes, you do then have to solder it. But you've got the advantage that when you do come to solder it, there's no claws to fall apart. There's no previous solder joints to fall apart because it is made from one piece of metal. So I'm going to start off with a bit of 3 millimeter square section wire. Now, I'll get to that in a minute. We can roll down our own square wire. Excellent, fantastic idea. I'll put a little playlist by here for you to watch about recycling silver and rolling into sheets and drawing it into wire and so forth, just by here. But the problem is when you roll out square wire, there's always a flat put on the edges. It's so the metal really doesn't crack. But when you buy square wire from a bullion dealers, it's got nice, crisp, sharp edges. Is this called a Turk's head? I think it's called a Turk's head type of square wire. If you do happen to roll it down yourself, stop a little bit bigger than what the square section you need. Then past this piece of wire that has the slightly flattened edges, the Turk's head, I think that's what it's called. If not, I feel like a fool. But pass it then through the flat rolls a little bit, turn it 90 degrees, put it through the flat rolls again. And yes, basically squashing that square wire in the opposite directions, and that will then enable you to get nice, crisp, sharp edges. And you really need that, so the outer edge of the claws are nice and sharp. You still could do it with the Turk's head, with your rolled piece of square wire, but I just feel for beginners, this is the best option. Start on and off with a nice square piece of wire. You can do it in copper, you can do it in brass, whatever you want to do. 3 millimeters square, I'm just going to cut off a piece that's about 20 millimeters, let's cut off about an inch, about 25 millimeters in length. What you don't want to do is cut off the exact size straight away, because you need a way of holding that bit of setting whilst you're working on it, and that's the reason why I've got a ring clamp. I get a nice straight piece of wire, put it into your ring clamp like this, tighten it up, and what we're going to do now is just to flatten the top, make the top nice and square, because if the top is slightly at an angle, the claws are going to be slightly different lengths, and then when you come to set the stone, there's a chance that your stone is going to be all over the place. So let's pop it over there. Let's just file the face of this. You can put it into one of those little vices that enables you to get a nice square top. Absolutely brilliant if you got one. I haven't got one. Or you can use a tri-square, and I would try if I had one, but I don't have it to hand. But I'm going to use my eye on this. And we're going to file across. I'm going to turn it around and file. And make sure then you've got a nice even surface across the top. Nice, okay, nice flat surface across the top. Those are going to be the tops of our claws. Now what you need to do, grab a pair of dividers. We said that this bit of metal was 3 millimeters. Get your dividers and set your dividers to 1.5 millimeters. 1.5. Okay, and now what you want to do is just gently get the dividers and run it on either side of the square wire, and make sure that line now is completely central, running up and down the piece. Let's get the dividers, run one leg along the one side. I'm actually well out on this, actually. Looking at this, I'm well out. And if you've got two lines that are separated, adjust the dividers until the divider now comes in between those two lines. Go on to a different side, there, like that, and there and there. Have a look. Pretty much spot on. Okay, now what we can do is scribe the line all the way up the length of our piece of metal on all four sides. Like that. Mind you don't slip, Andrew. Like that. And up this side. Just double check. Nice. Okay, now we need to decide on how high our setting has to be. This little guy here was about 8 mil by the looks of it. God, 6 millimeters. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to mark a line now, 6 millimeters down from the top. So that's the total height of our setting. And the claws, I think we can come down to around about 3-4 millimeters. Let's again get the dividers and measure 4 mil. So there, nice. And measure across from the top 4 millimeters. Now this little 4 millimeter line is where we're going to saw down. And this is how we're going to sort of release the claws. We're going to saw down. Accuracy really comes into it now. What we need to do is to get our saw blade and to saw down those center lines down to that 4 millimeter mark. Don't saw all the way down in one go, hoping this side over here is going to be spot on the line. We're going to just bring that little bit of metal a little bit higher. And what we're going to do is just saw on this side first at an angle like this. Okay. Then we're going to turn the piece over and saw from this direction. That will ensure then that each face we're going to have exactly the right sized claw as you look at it. Put my visor on for this. And we're going to just use our thumb right on the side just to get that saw cut and push away with the saw a couple of times just to start off. And we come on this side. We're going to get that saw, push it away a couple of times. Now all I'm doing is just starting off the cuts. As we've got them there. Like that. Now what we can do, we're going to keep the saw blade at an angle this way and we're going to saw down, aiming to the other side as well. So what you want to do is keep your eye on this side to make sure the saw cut is following the line, and also you want to make sure that that saw cut is going towards the saw cut over there as well. So come down a little and often, keep going over the other side now. Let's put that bit of silver vertical.
And likewise on this side. If you want to take it out of the clamp, you can do. Don't necessarily have to have it in the clamp. If you want to make sure you're going to come completely vertical down the edge here. In fact, this way is the better way. Come down to your 4mm line, just like that. Turn the piece over. Exactly the same on this side. Come down to your 4mm line. And do that on all 4 sides. So what you've got now is your piece of metal with the 4 cuts running down on each face. Now we can simply come along and just steepen the angle of our blade and cut right the way across and down. Come across to this side and gradually you'll make sure then you'll have your claws nice and square when you look down on top. And we're going to keep going down until our saw blade is basically completely horizontal all the way down our piece of silver. Once you've gone down, then what I'd advise you to do then is go further down to your 7mm mark, keeping the saw really shallow again. And if you have slightly wandered a little bit here, grab a triangular file and just go up those claws a little bit. And what you want to do now is just to bring the line of where the claws have been divided just further on down. Do that with a triangular file. It'll also neaten the outer edge of the areas that you have just sawn. Nice. Get a buff stick and just clean up the outside. Try and keep it obviously square. So now we've got our setting all closed up. We need to get a penknife. Let's put that into our ring clamp now so we can hold on to it. Put it into the ring clamp, get your penknife, and what you want to do is just pop the penknife down through the center of opposite claws and just ease it apart until the claws are nice and evenly spread apart. Once you've gone this way,
turn it around 90 degrees and do the same again on those other claws.
Pop that in and just wiggle it a little bit on either side. 90 degrees, penknife in, and wiggle it a little bit further. Wiggle it again. And what we're looking for is for the nice even amount of claws to be bent on both sides.
Once they're open wide enough, then you can get a pair of flat nose pliers in, using the pliers with 2 claws at the same time. Bend the claws out. Until we get a nice even arrangement on the top. Always handy if you have a stone to hand. I've got a little garnet by here, and I'm just going to open up the claws just so my garnet sits nicely on the top. A little bit further. Try again. Let's just pop the stone on top. How's it looking? How's it going to sit? And when that stone is set, that's looking just about right. Okay, now I just want to buff the tops of these claws flat. Try not to use a file. A file's too aggressive and it may push the claws. Go over these claws nice and evenly, ensuring you've got a nice flat top, and going around it, making sure they're all going to be nice and even. Once you've done that, grab a bit of emery paper, fold it in half and put it between the claws, and now you can just come through just then to clean up the insides of the claws, because obviously you've got saw marks where you sawed the claws. Then you can always go on to a finer piece of emery paper then as well. Or if you've got a really nice safety backed file, do I have one here? I do, yes. A nice safety back file, nice and smooth on the back. You can use this to clean up and trim up those claws, making sure they're all nice and square. Then you've got some marks on the outside. Clean up the outside. I'm going to use my round buff stick perhaps for this. There we go, nice. Okay. Clean up where we've marked it with the pliers. Nice cleaning up to do. Then, before you set the stone into it, you really do need to clean the setting, polish it. So get a piece of pre-polish, get yourself a nice bristle brush or a white nylon brush, and clean up in between the claws. This brush will also get in between if you want to clean in between the claws as well.
keep polishing until we've got all of our buff marks off. And this type of bristle brush, white nylon brush, is ideal for getting in between the claws and getting a brilliant pre-polish on that setting. So there we go, that is our setting complete. Obviously at the moment it's just that little bit too long, obviously, but what we can do is simply cut that off to whatever height we want, solder it onto our piece, use it to go between a ring shank and have a gorgeous single stone setting, something like that, and we can elaborate upon this in whatever sort of style that we want to. But we've got some nice gorgeous square claws, ideal now for ready to set the stone after we have decided what we're going to do with it. If you want to do something really simple, then you can get something like a simple wedding band like this and get the setting and just simply solder the setting slap bang on top, sort of Tiffany style. Yeah, if you wanted to. I don't particularly like that type of setting or style because there's no protection to the setting itself. Obviously I'm using this one with a stone at the moment, or you could actually get a little setting like we got here. You can buy this already from the bullion dealers and you can simply solder that into position very simply like that. There are lots of possibilities with this type of setting. Solder it in place, there we go, to look something like that. And you have made a gorgeous simple square 4-claw setting. Set a round stone into it, even set a square stone at a 45-degree angle, so the corners would actually come in between the spaces. There we go. That is how we make a simple 4-claw setting, no soldering required, from a square piece of wire. My voice is going. Don't forget, please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And don't forget, smash that little bell icon if that is something that you're into, to be notified when films go live on our YouTube channel. And also give this film a ding, a thumbs up if you like it and you want more content from us here during our lockdown, during this terrible situation that's happening worldwide. Again, please leave some comments down below, anything you want me to show you. Again, I'm trying to produce a film perhaps 3 times a week, 4 times a week if I could possibly can do that. Plenty of time on my hands. I'm glad to say I've built the wall in my garage now. Just got the shed roof to go next, but I'm sure I'll have plenty of time over the next few weeks, even possible months, to be able to do that. But in the meantime, I'm going to be producing films for you. As I said, don't forget, please leave a comment down below, anything you want me to show you or anything you want to equipment wise, that sort of thing, just let me know. Anyway, in the meantime, take care. My name is Andrew Berry for At The Benches YouTube channel. Take care. See you next time.